The other way to make sure that you're capturing all of the social factors when you're doing any sort of a decision is to do it in a radar chart. A lot of times in industry or, well, yeah, at Bechtel or most industries, or even for an Engineers Without Borders project, we like to normalize into dollar savings, which is important because it's the easiest decision factor. Normalize it into an economic dollar amount. You can go up to any decision maker and they can make the decision based on that, right? But what you get lost with that is when it goes on to the next person's plate, say the customer or say the community, when they see your decision on why you made that decision, you've lost all of these other factors because they've been normalized into an economic factor. So a radar chart is good because you still keep all of the factors there. This one was from a greenhouse gas reduction or emissions saving calculation that I did and presented to American Concrete Institute. And, you know, it's absolutely important to continue to track all of the savings. How are we doing on that? Okay. So you can do it in a memorandum of understanding meeting with your community. This is just a good way of getting everybody in the room, getting the brainstorming and ideas down. But then I do encourage you to take those decision matrices and put them on the board as well. So, laying out the road. Again, back to what typically engineers are seen to do. Given all the inputs, give me a solution. Lay me a road. Lay me a path to a solution. That's what engineers are typically asked to do. However, you can see the flaw sometimes in looking at this with an Alice in Wonderland quote. Alice says, "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?" to the cat. And the cat says, "Well, that depends a great deal on where you want to go." "I don't care much where," says Alice. "Then it doesn't matter which way you go," says the cat. "So long as I get somewhere," Alice added as an explanation. "Oh, you're sure to do that," said the cat. So when we just take our inputs and lay out the solution in the road and start down a path without having a well-defined goal, we're going to get somewhere. Sure to do that. So, but, I had one more thing to say. But all of those skills that I told you previously, I really feel like going back right now. Just don't look at this because that's what you've already seen. Anyway, all those skills that I gave you on cultural anthropology skills, the ways of analyzing the different factors and coming up to a good solution, those are really meant to give you an idea, meant to give you a goal, right? With the community, with the end user, with all of the people that you've engaged. Come up with an end goal, which will then facilitate making a map or a plan to get to that end goal, right? Once you have the end goal defined and you want a map, then expertise is important. So that's when you want to bring in the experts. You want the electrical engineers with expertise in coming up with programs and sorry, I don't know much about electrical engineers besides the fact that they're extremely intelligent. So anyway, that's when you want the experts to come into the room and help you lay out the plan to the end goal. I dated one. And yeah, that's okay. He won't watch this video. So now it's not working. But this was the model you've already seen. So what we're trying to get to is this. Some of the training today and some of the readings you can do, studies, transdisciplinary, just what you need, another academic smorgasbord of terms. But transdisciplinary is essentially reaching across other disciplines within your own skill set. You're not trying to take over the job of social consultants, because like I said, you still do need the experts to be involved in your teams. But it's really helpful when you, as engineers, can have some of those skills so that there's no longer a gap for that flow of information between the two. You can integrate the design and socio-cultural assessment and research all together, and it's going to come up with cost savings and efficiencies as well. So you will realize cost savings in the end, which a lot of people and companies are going to be looking for, of course. So here's a more thorough sustainability model. In the middle, you've got the core, the engineering, the nuts and bolts, the calculations. That's what you are all being trained to do. You'll leave this university ready to do so. This is fantastic. And around that is quality, cost, and time, and safety. I'll add safety in there. It's very, very important. And they're all extremely important aspects of engineering because it has to do with efficiency. Then on the outside of that, encompassing it, you've got processes, constraints, and your values. And that's when you have to make sure that everything you do is still surrounded by systems, context, interlinking scales, holistic financial accountability, maintenance of natural capital, efficient coordinated infrastructure, justice through participation. We talked a lot about that. And ethical foundation, of course. I mean, ethical foundation is part of the core because ethics are your profession. If you choose to be an engineer, thou must be ethical, or you cannot be an engineer. But that was... Did I have anything more on that? Anyway, that's just a more comprehensive model. Oh, and future vision. And as Tony Blair said, it's not stealing from the kids. So I don't expect you to be able to guess this, but if you were to guess, who said something like this? Local people are the experts, whereas outsiders are facilitators of the techniques and are there to learn. You won't guess it, but it will surprise you, I hope. Surprised me. The World Bank. It's actually from their participation source book. They have a very, very comprehensive, especially now in the past couple of decades, they've developed some really incredible tools for social impact assessment that great resources, all free on the internet. So take a look. The World Bank has really been drilling at all contractors across the world to require any sort of aid project, development projects, large scale, of course, that's what they fund, have to have social impact assessments. And of course, they need engineers to be involved in this. So there's crossover with engineering in all scale, from the small development projects in the developing world all the way through to the largest development projects. So back to what I challenge you to do, to go forth. Seek first to understand, the Covey principle number 5, and listen. Stay open. Closing yourself off is only going to close off all the potential solutions out there, actually. Identify the appropriate metrics. So you got to know what you're going to measure, and you need to decide that, especially the social factors. And ensure that social factors are assigned proper weighting. It's easy to start weighing towards the economic and even the environmental, but the social factors need to still hold a high importance because it will be seen in the future success of the project. And envision the end goal together, then pull in the expertise to help plan that goal. This is very critical. This is very important. The end goal needs to be there before the experts come start laying down the road, or else you have to rework. So hopefully, I'm glad you're all here. Hopefully you all came and you were consciously incompetent. But through this, with respect to social factors. Or maybe some of you were subconsciously incompetent and you just get credit for this class, and so you're like, oh, I'll go to see that. It's fine. So you didn't know what you didn't know. And there's that Rumsfeld quote, don't know what you don't know, know what you don't know, and know what you... I don't even know it. Anyway, so you start and you're subconsciously incompetent. Then you move up to consciously incompetent. Then you know what you don't know. Then you got the training. You need some training to get over to consciously competent. You learn the competency and the skills. What you really want to move to is being subconsciously competent. You want to make it ingrained so that it's just part of the way you work. It's what you do. It's like quality and safety. You want safety to be the way you work. You want quality to be the way you work. It shouldn't be something you have to think about as extra. So thank you very much for your time, and do you have any questions?